All right, guys. Sorry about that. Technical issues. All right, welcome back. And so we're gonna talk about how to get your green card in US through your job. Okay. So let's jump right into that. So let's jump into a place where you've already got your H-1B visa, and I don't want to cover the past because you should, to be honest, there are other videos you can watch on that and get the knowledge where you come up to the level where you already have an H-1B visa. Okay. All right, so let's jump into that. So imagine this, you have gotten your H-1B visa, and you've gotten your H-1B visa, and now you need to talk to your manager about your green card. Now here's the thing, depending upon the size of your company, it's usually, if the size of your company is like really large, like 10,000 people or more, it's easier to get your green card because they have a system for getting this green card, because they have, sometimes they have in-house lawyers, or they have companies that are being hired that they can directly communicate with and connect you directly to these people. Now if it's a small company, they might give you a hard time, even though if you have been at the company for 2 or more years, they might still tell you like, hey, we need some more time, because it's usually cost them a lot of money for them to do your green card. It's usually about $5 to $10,000, depending upon what kind of lawyer they hire, what kind of documentation they have to go through. So depending upon that, they will manage their finances. Okay. Now, so imagine this. So usually with any company, from my experience, usually you have to work there about a couple of years before they can do your green card. That's what happened to my company. My company had a law that, hey, you have to finish 2 years of working at this company before we can start applying for your green card. Now you can bypass this law while accepting an offer letter. So during accepting an offer letter, if you tell them that, hey, I have worked 2 years before this at another company, I already have my H-1B, and when I'm coming in, one of my criteria is I need you to start my green card application within 6 months, within 3 months, as a matter of fact, or you can even say right away. Now, depending upon the kind of company it is, you can negotiate that, and if you negotiate it well, you might be able to start your green card application right away. But in any case, for like, let's say for example, you don't have your H-1B before coming into a company, and they do your H-1B, then usually it's about a 2 years wait before they can start your green card process. Okay. Now let's look at the green card process. There are three types of green card. One is EB1, EB2, and EB3. Now EB1 category is one of those highly professional people who have done their PhDs, they have papers, they have really accomplished careers where they can do this EB1. Now most of you and I are going to fall into EB2 and EB3 categories. EB3 is basically an undergrad with 5 years of experience, and I'm sorry, undergrad with 5 years of experience is EB2, and a master's with, I think you don't even need that much experience. I think 2 3 years of experience is fine for you to get into EB2. So if you have anything less than that, you fall into an EB3 category. So if you have done your undergrad in US and you only have 2 years of experience, you are an EB3 category. So or if you're coming from another country directly to US and you only have 2 3 years of experience, you're again going to fall into EB3 category. Now don't worry about these categories as of now. Let's talk about how do you communicate with your manager or your team about how to get your green card. Now understand one thing, there is a saying like, success is like going to the bathroom. No one else can do it for you. Green card is exactly like that. Even though your manager is gonna be supportive to you, even though they like you and they want to keep you at the company for long term, they will not personally be motivated to get for you to get your green card. You have to be motivated for this. You have to put that personal pressure on yourself that, man, I need to get this thing done. Okay. Now, understand one thing, that green card, depending upon which country you are, if you are from any countries other than India and China, you will get your green card within 5 years. Usually it's 2 to 5 years wait. Some countries it's even 1 year wait. So you will get it before that. With countries like China, India, it depends. If you're lucky, you might get in 12 to 15 years. If you're unlucky, we don't even know, like it's more than 50 years waiting, 100 years waiting in some cases. But the way law works, I feel like usually 10 to 15 years, because law keeps changing. And I like to be an optimist again. I feel like 12 to 15 years is a good time frame. You can expect things to happen for you, but that's again a shot of luck. You have to pray and hope for it. But let's focus on for you to get your I-140 approved. And I-140 approval is basically is a document that allows you to renew your H-1B every 3 years for an unlimited amount of times. Okay, so once you have this document, you can keep renewing your H-1B. You can live in US as long as you want. Okay, now let's talk about this. So imagine this: you need to talk to your manager that, hey, I need to get my green card done. First of all, you need to there are three people who actually come into the play. One is your HR, one is your manager, and one is your attorney. Now imagine a big large company. I'll give you an example of my company. I'm not going to get into super details, but imagine a large company and they have the HR department, they have the manager, your manager here, and they have the attorney. So first thing you need to do is you need to go to HR and you need to talk to them that, hey, I have been working here for 2 years, or whenever I accepted my offer, you told me that within this time frame we will start my green card process. So once you go to your HR will be like, okay, great, we have finish this 2 years time frame and we need to get started. So they will say that I need an approval from your manager. So once that happens, what you do, you go to your manager, you email them, or I like to do everything in call usually. If you have phenomenal relationships with your manager, you can just email them and they can say yes. But usually what you can do, just send him an email or call them and tell them, hey, this is what you do, this is exactly what you say. I spoke to the HR department and they said they need your permission for us to go ahead with my green card application. You don't say them, hey, I want to do my green card, what do you think about this? No, you talk to your HR and you tell them, we need to get this done, and HR asked me to talk to you. So what happens then is, most managers, unless they themselves have gone through their green card application, they don't know what to do. They don't understand what is happening. Most of my managers are American, so they did not knew what things come into play with this. And even though they are phenomenal people, it is my responsibility to get these things done and to educate them also. So here is what happens then. Once they give you an approval, you go back to the HR and be like, hey, I have received this approval. You send them an email with approval and stuff like that. Then your HR will connect you with your attorney. So once they connect you with your attorney, what happens is this communication will start. And because people take their own time, this communication is not going to be fast. So one of the things you have to understand beginning this is you will have to have a lot of patience, because uh, people have their own timeline. People will not reply to your emails for weeks. Sometimes I have to email one of my attorneys and it takes almost more than a month for them to get back to me, and I have to keep constantly emailing them. But I don't want to come at them every single week, 2 3 times a week, and I don't want to pressure them, because I want this to happen seamless, and it's a long-term relationship, and I want to make sure this relationship is good between them and me. So saying that, what I do is I will involve my manager. I will take one of my managers who I have phenomenal relationship with, and I'll be like, hey, can we both talk to this lawyer on a regular ongoing basis so that we can make sure that things are moving faster. So you have to be on top of this. You can't just send these documents to lawyer. Your lawyer will send you some documents. He'll be like, okay, fill this up for me and I'll get back to you. And you don't just do that. You have to constantly keep in touch with your lawyer within every 2 to 3 weeks, in my opinion, for you to get things done faster. I have done this mistake. I started my process literally in January this year. It took me almost until end of July for me to apply for my perm labor certification. So you have to understand 3 steps you need to do for your initial green card. First is perm labor application. This is like a prevailing wage. You have to like basically what is the right salary for your job. That's what USCIS or Department of Labor gives it to you. It usually takes about 2 to 5 months for it to come. Right now with pandemic and everything that happened, USCIS and Department of Labor has less people working. Everything that used to take 1 year now is taking 2 years. So an approximate time frame for you to get your I-140 document, which allows you to get your H1B unlimited times, is about, I would say, 18 to 24 months right now. Okay. And so understanding that, now you have to be smart. So you have to, like, imagine this: I started my process in January. The letter went in on July 16th, July 15th. So that means 6 months went just by, like, for me to get documentation ready, for my managers to fill up this documentation, for all of these things to happen. So long time took for that. But I had to be on top of that. So that's what you need to do. You need to be on top of it and just understand how the process works. There is no right or wrong in this. Okay, your company is not going to do these things purposely. They have their own things, and you have to be on top of this to get things done. Understand, if you're not on top of this, it will never happen, because they don't have a deadline. You have a deadline. Okay, you need to figure out, because you have 6 years of H1B. You need to figure out how you can get your I-140 document before that 6 year period is done. And you don't want to go in your 6th year if some things don't happen properly. What are you gonna do? Okay, so knowing that, let's get a step back. So now, once you have started talking to your attorney, you have started talking to your HR, make sure you communicate on a monthly basis. Then once your labor certification comes back, like for example, you'll get your prevailing wage, then it takes about another 2 to 5 months for them to go through interview process, because they have to interview, they have to post like a, basically they have to post an advertisement and interview several people who are American, and they have to prove that there is no one available in US with your qualifications who can do that job for the company, and they are not able to hire an American citizen. So this is needs to be proved. So it usually takes about 2 to 5 months. There are ways you can bypass this, where my friend had given me some information, but I'm not very confident about that. So I'm going to tell you the general process right now, and you can research maybe in depth of how you can bypass certain things. There are a lot of ways to do that. So let's say that takes about 2 to 5 more months. So initially, let's say it took you 6 months, 3 to 6 months for your prevailing wage to come, 3 to 6 months for you to get your this application done. So once you send that, you wait basically for USCIS to approve that. You wait to hear from them. So again, couple of months, let's say, that takes, and then you can start applying for your I-140 document. And once you apply for your I-140, again, there is another wait. I was looking at, as a matter of fact, right now, okay, it says about perm labor approval is about 2 to 8 months, and as of October 2015, perm approval time is about 7 months. So in all, if you really say, let's do 6 months for you to do your prevailing wage, let's do the maximum times here, 6 months for you to do your recruiting and filing, so that's 1 year. And then for perm approval, let's say it takes another 6 months to 8 months, that's 1 to 1.5 years. But if you also understand, I started the process 6 months before all of this, where I had to start talking to my HR, I had to talk to my managers, fill up all these documents, send it to Department of Labor for that application. So that took another 6 months. So if you really understand, it's going to take you 2 years, 18 to 2 years, 18 months to 2 years for you to get your I-140 application. So during this, one of the major thing you need to understand is your communication with three different people: HR, your manager, and your attorney. Now, some of the mistakes I did is I did not communicate on time. I sat on my ass and I waited for people to do things. And that doesn't happen, folks. You can't expect other people to send in emails to you. You can't expect that. They are busy people, they have their own life, and this is not their priority. Their priority is, like, your manager's priority is not to get your H1B done, not to get your green card done. His priority is to make sure you have enough information to do your job on a regular basis, enough information for you to get ahead in your career, and all those things. Your HR has to, make sure you have a good environment to work in. Nobody's harassing you. that is their responsibilities. Your attorney's responsibility is for you to get this documentation, but because they have a lot of hundreds and thousands of people who they are doing this application for, they get very busy and you may not be a priority. And how do you stay a priority? By constantly being in touch with them. So this is the right way I would do if I have to do things all over again. Okay, now this is just a mindset what I wanted to give you. This is not exactly how to do it and what to do it. I just wanted to give you my experience, how it's been so far, and what is the right way for you to start talking to your manager, because most of us just don't know how to start talking, because we have all these details how to get H1B. If you just google green card application process, you will get all these details, but who talks about how to talk to your manager? Nobody does that. And that is something I wanted to give you, because I wish someone sat down with me and gave me this information, because I had no idea what to do. So I think that's pretty much what I had for you. If you have more questions, put it in the comment section. But I love talking to the 6 people here who are watching it live. And thank you very much for being here. I'll see you in another video. Take care. Bye.